This is one of the commonest flowering succulents sold in the UK as gift plants or potted succulents. It's a Kalenchoe. It's a member of the crasula family of succulents, and it flowers profusely, but tends to do exactly what this one's done, particularly if they're not put in a very light position, which is get very leggy over the years and get to a position really where it's not that much of a thing of beauty anymore. But this is excellent cutting material, and if you have a close-up look at these stems, you can see on just about every single leaf joint you've got little embryonic roots, dry air roots forming, and this will root very, very easily. Now, as in all succulents, the first step in getting these to root is just to let them callus over. So we take a cutting off. You'll see that's not broken particularly well, so what we'll do is cut that at one of these leaf joints just below where we've got one of these little areas of aerial roots forming, and then we'll leave this for 24 hours to callus over. Now, the importance of doing that is that it lets the stem seal itself and start to heal, but also it prevents that stem, when it's put into compost, from rotting. And then in 24 hours time, when we've got all these little cuttings calloused over, we will then pop them up into a nice gritty compost. I'm going to take a punt and do this actually in flower and see if we can produce something that grows away and continues to flower throughout the season. Now, the normal advice is to remove all the flowers and any leaf along that stem that would be under the compost level. But let's see how we get on tomorrow, and we will try potting these up and see if we can form probably 3 or 4 new little plants, which will hopefully look a lot more attractive than this one. 24 hours later, these little cuttings will have calloused over nicely, the ends will have dried out, and it's just a matter of pushing them into a nice freely drained compost. And I'm going to fill this little pot just with 3 cuttings. They're still looking a little bit soft here after being left out, but you can see this end one's giving the impression of what it's going to look like. And I think these are going to go away and continue to flower as nice little plants over the next few weeks. What we could do with these is to take the tips out so that we get bushier plants, but with these being in flower, I'm just going to leave them, and hopefully you'll get the impression of some root forming on these cuttings into the compost pretty quickly, and that you'll feel just by a little tug on them. They'll not be moving at all once they start adhering. So real good water in now, free draining compost, let it drain out completely. You don't want to leave these sitting in water, but you just want to keep the compost slightly on the moist side over the next 3 weeks while those roots get developed, and then you should have a lovely crop of young little plants coming into flower for the rest of the season.